I'm the type of gamer that likes to play the game and watch the cutscenes, but not really read any files, or notes, or really look up any lore for that matter. So I had the brilliant idea to talk about the game's story from yours truly, from my point of view, because I pretty much have all the qualifications, am I right? I mean, I got the game, I beat it multiple times, and I have a YouTube channel. So here I am, bringing you guys Resident Evil 4 Explained. We start the game showing what looks like a devil worshipping cult making a sacrifice, followed by our main protagonist, Mr. Leon Steal Your Girl Kennedy, taking a trip down memory lane where he basically recaps what happened in Resident Evil 2, as well as what he did in the time between RE2 and RE4. So after Leon stops reliving the glory days, we see he is getting a ride from two police officers when one has to take a piss. Little does he know, he has a peeping Tom back in the bushes, and for some reason, only God knows why, he goes to investigate without radioing his partner. I'm sorry, but if I'm in an area that I've never been in and I'm in the woods taking a piss and I hear some rattling or some shifting going on, I'm gonna radio my partner. I will literally tell him what color my stream is. I don't even care. I just want him to know what's happening because I'm scared as shit. His partner is like, huh, he's taking a while. Maybe you should go check on him. Like, excuse me, is that my fucking job? Isn't he your partner? What, I gotta babysit both of you now too? Now it makes sense why there is a brainwashed village that kidnaps people and sacrifices them to the demon overlords, because these cops obviously don't give a shit and they know nothing about what's going on about anything. So we go to check on the pissing cop and we end up finding a house. Leon goes in, he finds the house resident, I don't know, whatever he is, and decides to use his best Buzz Lightyear Spanish impression on him.
Florecilla del desierto. Yo nunca había visto la verdadera belleza hasta esta noche.
The owner is like, no thanks, I'm not really interested in what you're selling. And Leon roundhouse kicks his ass so hard, the man is now chilling with his great grandpa and Jesus. We go into the basement and we find Pissing Cop is now dead, and what sounds like his partner on the radio saying he needs chicken. Like, my Spanish isn't the best, but it sounds like he says necesito pollo, which roughly translates to I need chicken. So apparently the radios do work. Leaving the basement, homeboy that we just sent to the afterlife is now alive with his neck bent at an angle only a math teacher would love, so we remove his head completely. Before escaping the house, we find a convenient picture of Ashley, which is the girl that we're looking for, next to a lake. For some reason they have a map of a lake there. So Leon calls up this beautiful looking woman, I think her name is Hunnigan. We basically ask her to look up where the lake is so we can potentially find Ashley. And before she could get back to us, we get rudely interrupted by No Head Dan's angry roommates, so we jump out a window and continue our journey. Somehow, someway, Lazy Partner got, and now he's part of the community bonfire. Then comes one of the most intense starts to a game that I've ever played. I mean, I had women after me, I had men after me, I even had a dude with a bag on his head after me. I even had a freaking bull on fire chasing after me, as if it's my fault that he's on fire. And just when I thought I was gonna have all of PETA after me, someone rings a bell, a cutscene hits, and everyone literally just kind of drops what they're doing to go attend church or something. It's kind of weird, like no joke, they would stop mid-swing just to go to church. It's the weirdest thing. After the cutscene, Hunnigan tells us that she found a way to the lake. It's by a big windmill or something. So onto the lake we go. And in classic Resident Evil fashion, we solve a few puzzles, dodge a few boulders, and kill a couple hundred people, until we run into ladies man Luis. But in the middle of the bro bonding session that we have, bald Aquaman interrupts, bitch slaps us so hard that we get knocked out, and injects us with the plague. When we wake up, we're chained to Luis, but little do the villagers know that this isn't Leon's first rodeo being tied up, so he escapes pretty easily. We later find out that Luis actually worked for Umbrella, and Leon is instantly like,
"Ooh, I hate Mongolians."
So we save a dog, get some gas, find a boat, put the gas in the boat, and then we fight a giant tadpole. We do all of that just to get to a cave, to put 2 stone heads into 2 stone palms, that unlocks the key to the church where Ashley is. Because for some reason, Boss Man doesn't like to keep important items on him, like the key to where your biggest hostage is. He just likes to leave those types of things in caves for some reason. Making our way back to the church, we run into a giant gray Hulk because the giant tadpole wasn't enough, and our homie the dog saves Leon's fine ass. Like, just look at my boy running in with absolutely no regard for his own life. We kill giant gray Hulk, get to the church, solve another puzzle, and finally get to Ashley, who decides to try to hit us with a giant candlestick. Turns out that Ashley is having the same visions that Leon's having, which can only mean one thing: she is also infected. So now we're both kind of fucked. So we end up leaving the church, and Hunnigan tells us to get to an extraction point, which she also says the funniest line of the entire game.
Make your way there, and don't let anything happen to Baby Eagle.
Hang on, I've got you.
We continue through the game until we run into Luis again, and Leon is still like,
Ooh, I hate the Mongolians.
so he tries his best bad cop interrogation tactics
Where is she?
until we're rudely interrupted by an army's worth of villagers. So we have to team up with Luis and have like a last stand type of situation with the villagers until Ashley opens a door and screams,
Leon! This way, hurry!
as if this door just magically appeared. Like, I'm not too sure how Luis and Leon didn't at least try to check that door at any point in time, but that could just be me being nitpicky. I mean, the door could have been locked on the other side and just, oh my god, bro, did you see that? After escaping, Luis shows us that he has a scar on his chest, indicating that he was also infected, keyword being was, which means there's hope. Turns out Luis and Ada, who, by the way, we thought died in Resident Evil 2, but apparently didn't, they actually know each other, and Ada is asking Luis for some type of amber, which at the current situation we don't know why. Hunnigan tells us that the helicopter cannot land until the weather clears up and asks if we could wait, which Leon's like,
No thanks, bro.
so we continue on to try to find a safe place to lay low for a while. In the meantime, Leon is trying to fend off his adoring fans for a minute.
I am flattered. I'm a one-lady type of guy.
Wink wink Ada. Continuing along, I see this wall to my right, and I'm instantly like, huh, that's a very suspicious looking wall. And sure enough,
I'm in danger.
so now we gotta fight Bald Aquaman that turns into a weird Edward Scissorhands centipede type of thing. I don't know what's going on with him. We kill him and end up taking his eyeball because fuck him. And then we end up heading to a castle that lifts the drawbridge as soon as we walk over it, so that's definitely not suspicious at all. Inside the castle, we talk to an old child named Ramon Salazar, who's actually pretty polite and just calmly asks us to hand Ashley over, to which Leon is a bad guess, so he's all like,
No thanks, bro.
and proceeds to just completely massacre all of Salazar's friends in the matter of seconds. This doesn't really have anything to do with the story, but I just had to throw it in here because look at this guy, man. It's like Daredevil and Wolverine had a fucking baby. He's a scary savage. Look at this guy. So anyways, we solve a couple more puzzles, kill a couple more 100 guys, then Ashley just decides to go full on psycho possessed mode and tries to stab Leon. And Leon does either one of the most badass things or the most dumbass things I've ever seen and catches the knife blade side up. And I swear to God, I've never been more gay for another man in my life. Oh yeah, and then like Ashley runs away or something. We later run into Ada for the first time since Resident Evil 2, and you would think that they would like kiss, make up, you know, have a good little chat. But no, instead they have the all-time weirdest foreplay courtship dance that I've ever seen in my life. Ada tells Leon,
Leave the girl. She's lost no matter what.
to which Leon is once again like,
No thanks, bro.
we run into a new spider-like enemy that could control other enemies. We run into the Beast Titan and have to fight him. And then we run into Ashley sobbing on a couch. Not really hiding or anything, just crying on a couch. Ashley is scared of the dormant powers within her until she finds out that Leon is also infected. So Leon gives her a little pep talk, you know, to get a little pep in her step. And back to the mission we go. Until Luis calls us instantly after our little pep talk and lets us know that he needs help. But before we could get to him, Ashley and Leon get separated again, this time with Ashley being kidnapped by Salazar's right-hand man, to which Leon says,
Shit!
we transition to Ada talking to another man, and my jealousy instantly kicks in, so I already hate the guy, I already want to murder him. Although she does call us,
My little helper.
so that guy can eat a dick. She tells us that something is going to go down in the throne room, so off to the throne room we go. But unfortunately, of course, it can't be easy. We run into a room full of human-sized camouflage bugs. Then the next room immediately after, we have to fight not one, but 2 Daredevil Wolverine demon spawns in a room full of basic bitch-ass enemies. And on top of that, someone at Capcom had the bright idea of armoring one of them the fuck up looking like Rhino from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 or some shit. It's ridiculous. We get to the throne room where Salazar's right-hand man mounts us, and they force Ashley to drink some nasty black gunky shit that I can only imagine tastes like a Four Loko. She then throws it up, which actually makes sense because that's what, you know, any sane person would do after drinking a Four Loko, so maybe it is a Four Loko. And then we get thrown down a hole like this is Sparta or some shit, and somehow, someway, Leon is able to grab onto a chain while free-falling. I don't know, this is Leon, so I don't really question it. The dude is a god. We make our way through a cave, find a pretty crown, walk through some sewers, and then my all-time favorite boss fight of the game happens. I'm not sure what makes this my favorite boss fight, I love it. You got this like sleek ass scorpion humanoid hybrid thing that's damn near bulletproof. You have the suspense of him chasing you through the vents, not knowing where he's gonna pop up like he's a fucking necromorph or a xenomorph or some shit that crawls through the vents. And then you can either wait for the elevator to spawn or you can run around trying to freeze him to do more damage. Just overall, man, this is my favorite boss fight of the game. I love it. After the fight, we get a vision that shows Saddler telling this new guy to come get us, and this new guy has a pretty big fancy looking knife. When we come to, Luis is surprisingly here with what I think is the antidote until Luis is like,
Got him!
turns out that this only suppresses the side effects, it doesn't actually get rid of the parasite. Luis for some reason decides to join us in rescuing Ashley, and Luis don't need no gun, alright? All he needs is a stick. We fight 2 giants, ride a roller coaster, find a giant bug hive, then Luis gets a literal knife in his back. And it turns out we actually know this guy, little Saddler's lapdog. He actually used to be our commander. And I guess he also taught Leon that
Knives are faster.
which, unless you're on your Deadpool Samurai Jack shit, I don't really think that that's accurate when it comes to bullets, but whatever. We end up getting into a little spicy patty cake ass slap contest, and just when we think we're about to visit No Head Dan in heaven, the man, the myth, the legend, Luis is still alive and ends up saving our asses. And then he dies. But before he does, he gives us the key to his laboratory where we can actually remove the parasite. Moving on, Ada tells us that they are taking Ashley to the top of a clock tower. So, once again, we murder a couple hundred guys, and then finally we run into Salazar, which Krauser takes Ashley away. So Salazar doesn't even have Ashley anymore, which is starting to sound a lot like Super Mario Bros. Like, oh sorry, your princess is in another castle. Leon tells Salazar,
You talk too much.
and headshots him mid fucking monologue, bro. Like, I wish more protagonists did this. Imagine how short the games would be if they didn't let the villain monologue all goddamn day. Like, I knew I loved Leon for a reason, and that's why. After officially killing Salazar, we end up getting to a boat, trying to follow Krauser, which Ada has the key to, and then we take a romantic boat drive to Alcatraz. Saddler decides to give a juiced up Inosuke a mini turret, but for some reason fails to train anyone else in the art of firearms, except for fucking rocket launchers. It's like Saddler thought, hey, I don't really need to give you guys pistols or anything, let me just give you axes and crossbows, and let me just give you rocket launchers. So we pretty easily get through the defenses until we run into the thing of nightmares. The part that I was terrified of doing in the remake, the part that terrified me when I was younger, the regenerators. And just when I thought running into traffic might be more fun than this game, they decided to give you a room full of 4 regenerators in test tubes. We end up getting to Ashley and we give her some of the temporary serum, and I guess we just decide to take a nap, as if we didn't just run into some of the shit that even the therapist from Rick and Morty couldn't help us overcome. But hey, sleep king, you deserve it. Or maybe he didn't sleep. I don't know. It was heavily implied that he did go to sleep, but maybe he just stared out the door.
Who knows? I don't.
Ashley wakes up, she asks about Luis, and we have to tell her that he's unfortunately with no head Dan now, and then we ask Ada where we might be able to find his lab, which she actually gives us an idea of where to go. But what she didn't tell us was that we would have to fight regenerators that evolve like a fucking Pokemon. Anyways, we kill a couple hundred more guys, Ashley does her best Miley Cyrus impression, and then we run into some amber where the parasite is, kinda like an Aerodactyl. Sadler decides to meet us, shows us his fade, and then once again, Leon shoots him mid-monologue, like Leon does not give a fuck. Apparently, Salazar did not tell Sadler that Leon is him. Sadler controls Ashley and tries to shoot Leon, but the gun ends up jamming, so Sadler kinda just gives up, like he has us there and could kill us at any moment, but just decides to take Ashley and leave for some reason. Our next fight is with Krauser, and Leon is all like,
Give it up, Krauser. Being a lackey for these maniacs won't bring your men back. And what the hell for? Revenge on the government?
and Krauser's like,
Revenge. You think I'm doing all this for revenge?
and Leon's all like,
Well, I did. Right up until you chuckled like that, and now I'm thinking I should just get out of here.
about midway through the fight, he gets an arm that honestly reminds me of Piers in Resident Evil 6, so maybe this game is where they got the inspiration from. I mean, all it's really missing is the electricity. We end up killing Krauser, killing a couple thousand guys with the help of Mike in a helicopter, who was actually sent by Hunnigan, and then unfortunately Mike forgets his raid spray and ends up dying, which is actually a bummer because he did say,
We get out of here. Drinks are on me. I know good now.
and my alcoholic ass is all like, oh boy, free drinks. But then he kind of dies, so that kind of just got my hopes up for nothing, so thanks Mike. We run into an area with a bunch of body bags, and I already know that the spiky regenerators are in there, so I avoid them at all costs. We end up killing a couple million guys, and then we find Ashley again for the millionth and 10th time. Sadler comes in and laughs at us and is about to actually turn us onto his team, but then Ada comes out and reminds us, hey, Leon, you like women. And we're like, oh yeah, that's right, we don't want to be on his team.
Not to get you.
While we escape with Ashley. We start going on a hard acid trip, but then, towards the end, we actually find Luis's lab. So we put Ashley in the chair, extract the parasite from her, but just when it's about to be Leon's turn, he ends up passing out. When we come to, it turns out Ashley She-Hulk juiced up McGee over here was able to pick us up while unconscious, put us in the electric death chair, and then extract the parasite. I don't know how she did it. Now that we are parasite free, we get to the next area where Sadler captures Beta. So we save her, which Sadler doesn't seem very happy, so he grabs us in a choke slam hold, but then Beta saves us. We have a cute little couple's goals moment and shoot the shit out of Sadler. Sadler says,
We don't take kindly to your types.
and transforms, which in hindsight is kind of odd because he just kind of exposes more weak points on him. Like, I'm sure he could have just got both hands, you know, instead of just throw a staff, use both hands, choke slam grab us, and pop our heads off, but he doesn't. He does this instead. Anywho, we kill Sadler, which he responds in typical Resident Evil fashion, so Beta throws us a rocket launcher and we officially kill Sadler. But then Ada takes the parasite from Leon, leaves on a helicopter, but is nice enough to offer Leon a ride, which I'm not too sure why Leon didn't just whistle Ashley over to get on the free airlift, but no, he turns Ada down. She throws him some keys and is all like, fuck you, and leaves him on an exploding island. We meet up with Ashley and go to a jet ski on a dope ass escape trip where I fucking died, but eventually we recuperate and we escape the island. Ashley offers us a spot on her personal security team, which, hold on, time out, that reminds me. I don't think I said this, but did I say that Ashley is the president's daughter? Holy shit, I don't think I said that at the beginning, so I went through the entirety of this video without telling you guys that that's the president's daughter. She's not just some random ass lady we're trying to save. No, there's a reason why we're trying to save her. Whoops, my bad guys. Anywho, Leon's all like,
No thanks, bro.
to her offer, and we just kind of ride off into the sunset. The game cuts to Ada holding the parasite, and she ends up calling Wesker, of all people, kind of throwing some insight into how Wesker got his powers in Resident Evil 5, because I had no idea how he got them, so this actually connects some dots for me. But hearing how many people would die, Ada tells the pilot they are changing courses. So now I'm confused as fuck again, and I don't know how point A got to point B and how Wesker got his powers, the parasite, all that good shit. Hopefully there's a DLC that comes out with Ada's side of the story. But that's going to be it for me, guys. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching. I actually really enjoyed making this video, so I hope that everyone enjoyed it. It was my first time making a video like this, but I'm hoping to do more. So like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. And that's it. Bye!